All right, beautiful people. This is Ben Shaw coming at you guys. Hope everybody is doing great today. This message is finding you at the right time in the right place. Today, I want to talk to you guys about being lazy. A lot of times I hear people say they're lazy, and the thing is, it's not that you're technically lazy, it's that you're resisting. I had this one client some years ago, and if she's watching, I'm sure she's gonna know immediately I'm talking about her when I start talking and telling you guys the story. But this girl was working four freaking jobs. Like, yeah, literally four jobs. Like, who do you know that holds down four jobs? But she was like holding down these four jobs. And I was like, Stephanie, like, you can't keep working like this. And she'd always say, I'm lazy. I'm so lazy. I'm like, how are you lazy when you're holding down four freaking jobs? Like, nobody can be lazy working four full-time jobs. But she always had an issue when it came to, her health and fitness. And she would say, oh, I'm just lazy. I can't lose weight because I'm lazy. I can't lose weight. I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I'm lazy. But I'm telling her, you're not lazy if you have four jobs. Think about that. A lot of times we say we're lazy. We say that, oh, I'm lazy because I don't do X, Y, Z. But we have functioning jobs. We have relationships. We have kids that we do things for, but we call ourselves lazy. The reason why a lot of times people think they're lazy is because there's actually a resistance there. You're not, that's not that you're lazy, there's something that you're lazy about. Like, for example, with Stephanie, it was her health and fitness. She was lazy when it came to her health and fitness, but it was because she had a resistance, an inner resistance to, getting weight off. And when it comes to those resistances come up for several reasons. And with hers, we found out it was because of her past. She had several times where she tried to lose weight and she failed losing the weight. Every time you have a failure like that, you're going to have more resistance about trying it again and again because why? History is showing you that it's not going to work. So why are you going to do all this work if it's not going to work? And you're going to build up a resistance about doing it. And that's what it was. She started getting a resistance to, losing weight because of her past failures when it came to it. When it comes to resistance, there's normally three levels of resistance. One, you have the fear of failure, meaning that, of course, you're afraid that you're going to put all the work in and it's not going to work. But a lot of other people have the opposite. They have the fear of success. It's like once you succeed in something, then it's like, okay, now I don't have this excuse anymore. Because a lot of times people use the fact of they have that weight on them as an excuse to hide, an excuse to stay comfortable, an excuse to not go out, an excuse to, stay in a place where you're getting sometimes, a payoff from that, meaning that, because you have this weight on, there's things that you wouldn't be getting if you didn't have that weight on. Like it could be the comfort of someone's self-pity. A lot of times people have that because they're overweight. And you may think that it's something that someone doesn't want, but we are emotional creatures. We all are used to always having a certain emotion toward us. Another thing that people, have resistance against is a fear of change. It could simply be that, you don't know how things are going to look on the other side. It's like, okay, I've never lost 50 pounds. I've never been light in my life. I've never been lean, so I don't know how that's gonna look. I don't know how people are going to react to me, how people are gonna like treat me. So, people get to a place where they're afraid of change. And normally when it comes to, resistance is simply a shadow of your past experiences. Whatever you experienced before, it's going to, be something that leads up to your resistance. So when it comes to resistance, you also can have a conscious resistance and you can have a subconscious resistance. For example, a conscious resistance would be like, I don't like to go outside because it's hot and I don't like to sweat. And that's not me though. I don't mind sweating. I'm just saying, like that could be a conscious resistance that you don't like to go outside because, it's hot and you sweat. You don't like to sweat. That's a conscious resistance, something that you automatically know. But you can also have a subconscious resistance. I was working with a lady through, who had a subconscious resistance to losing weight. And she didn't know it for years in her life. And she couldn't figure out why she had the resistance to losing weight. And the actual subconscious resistance stemmed back to her childhood. She, at the time, was underweight when she was growing up, and her sister was overweight. And she always was, her sister had the preferential treatment. And for her, she was always picked on about being skinny. And it's like, they make jokes about her and call her lollipop because they said, her head was bigger than her body. So subconsciously, she always had that in the back of her mind. Like if I lose weight, I'm gonna be picked on. I'm gonna be picked on. They're gonna call me lollipop, and that's a subconscious resistance. And consciously, even though she wanted to lose the weight, she kept saying, I need to get this weight off. She had a resistance against that because she did not want to be back into that place where she was bullied and she was picked on. So when it comes to your resistances, 90% of them are going to be subconscious resistances, and you're going to be fighting against them, not realizing, why can I not get this thing, moved out of the way, especially weight issues, because you are subconsciously resisting them. So the first thing is, when you come to a resistance, ask yourself, what am I resisting? And why am I resisting it? Just sit and ask those questions, because you have to first and foremost, identify the resistance before you move it out the way. It's never going to move until you first identify it. So you need to identify, what's the resistance I have to losing weight. The next thing you want to ask yourself is, what if I do it anyway? Because the resistance, when it comes up, it's normally something that's going to be a lie. Our resistances are normally a lie, just something that basically wants to keep us in our comfort zone. So just ask yourself, what if I do it anyway? And just go through that, actually do the action to do whatever that resistance is telling you not to do it anyway. And realize that that resistance is basically like an overprotective friend. It's just trying to keep you safe. But in its mind, when it's keeping you safe, it's not really keeping you safe. It's just keeping you small. So step past those resistances. Don't let those resistances keep you in a place that you don't want to be in. And realize that procrastination is not you being lazy. It's simply a resistance. So go ahead and move those resistances out of the way. Another way that you can get past those resistances is to celebrate the small wins. Let's say you have a resistance to losing weight, but what you did, you went to the gym today. That's a victory. Celebrate that victory and build on it. Let's say that you went and you watched what you ate today. That's another victory. Build on that and start to learn to fall in love with just doing the actions. When you just do the actions, regardless of the results, that's going to automatically start helping you get past those resistances, because those resistances are normally a wall that's telling you not to do the actions. So if you just do the action regardless of the outcome, you'll notice those resistances get less and less and less, and you're able to move forward. So most of you guys who are actually watching this video right now, you have a resistance to losing weight. But technically, you don't have resistance to losing it. You have a resistance to keeping weight off, meaning that you probably lost the same 10, 20, 30 pounds, 10 times over. But there's some kind of inner resistance that's keeping you from, staying in a place where you can keep that off. And one good way of knowing if I have an inner resistance to losing weight is ask yourself, have you gotten to a place where you lost weight and you're looking good and you're feeling good, and then you do what? You go and you self-sabotage yourself, and before you know it, you're back to square number one. If you're doing that, that shows you have an inner subconscious resistance to losing weight and keeping it off. And we need to get to the bottom of that. And if you want to get to the bottom of that, I'm the guy for that. And if you got this far in this video, unless you're a fan of mine, then you have an issue with weight. So you should be reaching out. And if something in your head is saying, don't reach out tomorrow, let's wait to the next video, that's simply nothing but resistance in action. So take the first step to get past that resistance. It doesn't matter what happens on the other side. Like I was telling you before in the video, it's just about doing the action. Action is what helps you get past resistance. So get past that first resistance that says, don't reach out just yet. Go ahead and get past that. I'm here for you, here to support you, help you get through the resistance of weight loss. So reach out to me, DM me, send me a message, email me. There's 100 ways of getting in contact with me. Get in contact with me so that we can sit down, we can have a real conversation, figure out what it is that's keeping you trapped where you don't want to be. That's keeping you trapped in a body that's not serving you. That's keeping you trapped in a body that makes you not feel sexy, not feel confident, and not feel like your best self. So send me a message. We'll sit down, we'll have a real conversation, get you over that hump so that you can embrace the life that you know you're meant to live. This is Ben Shaw, and I'll talk to you soon.